Wouldn't it be amazing if instead of manually creating all your AWS resources, you could just code the requirements into a file, and this file could be repeated countless amount of times to create the same resources with the same properties over and over again. Hello everyone and welcome to Intellipaat's YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about one such technology which can achieve this feat. CloudFormation. If you want to know more about CloudFormation, check out Intellipaat's official website. I've left the link out in the description down below. So, without any further delay, let's get right into the video. What is AWS CloudFormation? Imagine you're developing an application within the US East 1 region. Initially, you deploy a Lambda function to initiate the applications. As requirements evolved, the need arose for DynamoDB tables, so you added RDS. Subsequently, an S3 bucket is also added to manage metadata and log files. To manage database operations, IAM users are also configured. Now for these IAM users, login credentials and specific permissions are required so that they can modify the application. Later, your application gains popularity in the market and the demand increases. Hence, you decide to make your application global. But with this, you need to create an exact replica of this application with all the specifications you previously included. Now, all we can do while building this architecture all over again is hope that you remember all the permissions, resources, and access you gave while creating the previous architecture. Because if you forget anything at all, your application will not work. So, how do we solve this problem? By using Amazon's CloudFormation. CloudFormation offers infrastructure as code, enabling us to code the required infrastructure into a file in YAML or JSON format. Within this file, you can code all the resources you're going to use for your project, like the number of servers, the storage space, the number of databases, and more. You can then upload this file to a CloudFormation either locally or to an S3 bucket. Upon uploading, CloudFormation will automatically create an architecture that meets all your specified requirements. Now, let's take a look at the advantages and disadvantages of CloudFormation. Starting with the advantages of CloudFormation. It saves a lot of time. CloudFormation just makes our lives so much easier by allowing developers to dedicate more time to application development rather than configuring and managing all the infrastructure manually. It is repeatable. This feature we've already discussed about, but the major highlight here is because this replication delivers consistent results across your infrastructure every single time, the potential for human error becomes almost non-existent. Estimates cost based on templates. We can analyze the resource and configurations we have used in CloudFormation templates to predict the financial requirements for deploying and maintaining our application. This feature helps users ensure that their project remains within the financial constraints. Can be used cross-region. As we have already seen in our example with CloudFormation, replicating an already existing infrastructure becomes easier and less time-consuming. This capability becomes crucial for organizations operating globally. Large community support. In case you run into any problem while creating your cloud infrastructure, there is a huge community out there that can guide you so you can navigate your CloudFormation journey easily. Although CloudFormation becomes a blessing when you're building large-scale applications, there are a few drawbacks to it. Let's take a look at them so that you don't fall prey to any of these. Disadvantages of CloudFormation. Steep learning curve. For new users, adapting to infrastructure as code and CloudFormation's syntax and features might be difficult. But like I said before, there is a huge community out there that can guide you. Plus, once you get familiar with the interface, it will naturally become easier. Minute adjustments can be fatal. You need to be extremely careful about the minute changes that you're going to make inside your architecture. But it's a minute change. How does that matter? Well, here's an example of what could go wrong. Due to some reason, you changed the name of an existing database. Now, this will cause CloudFormation to delete that entire database from your AWS account and create a new database with the updated name, hence erasing all the data from your previous database. Drift. If you want to make certain updates in your stack, then as long as you use change set to apply these changes, you'll be fine. But the moment you use AWS CLI or console to make direct changes to the resources linked to the stack, an out of sync issue arises. This out of sync issue is called drift. Drift is a concept in CloudFormation where the actual configurations of AWS resources differ from the configurations defined inside the template. Alright, enough with the advantages and disadvantages. Now let's move on to the interesting part, the hands-on part.
Alright, so getting into the hands-on part. Now for this, you need to go to your AWS homepage, navigate to CloudFormation. Alright, here, click on Create Stack. Now you can see three options here. Choose an existing, sample, and application composer. I'll show you all three methods. Right now, let's just create an infrastructure from an existing template. We're going to create an S3 bucket, a very simple S3 bucket. So for that, go in here, upload a template file. So I already told you that the file should be JSON or YAML format. So let's create a file over here. I call it my bucket.yaml. Now here, okay. Now I'm going to show you how a template in the real world, how a template looks. Here's a sample AWS template. This is how it looks. I know this looks incredibly scary. So we're not going to make this one look very scary. Our code is going to be very simple so that it will be easier for you to understand. If I minimize this a little, let me just show you the important concepts here. Yeah, the AWS template, description, parameter, mapping, resource, output. These are the core features of CloudFormation which most of the companies use. And these are basically the defining infrastructures inside which we define our resources as the EC2 instances, the EBS volumes, or whatever we need to create. So for our simple bucket, we just we'll create this template formation. Description will add something. Say this is my template that is going to have an S3 bucket in it. Okay. Now let us define the resources that we're going to use. Inside this section, we're going to define all the resources, meaning the like the EC2 instances if you want to create, an S3 bucket if you want to create, or if you want to create an API gateway or anything, any of those resources, you list them down. So right now I'm going to give any custom name. You can give any name you want to. I'm going to add my new bucket as the name of my resource. You can put anything you want. Inside of this, you need to specify the type of your resource. In my case, we're going to create an S3 bucket right here. So I'm just going to write an S3 bucket. There we go. Then I'm going to give properties. I'm not going to give any properties as such. So I'm just going to let this be. Now I would like to give in the parameter section, I would like to give my bucket a name. So for that, I need to specify the type. The type of the name will be string. Default value is going to be, say, this is the default name. That's all. And you're done with your bucket creation. I'll close the file and let's just upload it here. There's your my bucket. Right. This is the application composer. If you open this in a new tab, you can see this is the bucket that we are going to create. It's just showing you that this is the element you're going to create. I told you about the financial constraints and all. From here, you can analyze like what financial constraints and all you're going to take for this particular resource. Look, I named this my new bucket. Okay, let's leave this. Going back, click on next. You can provide any kind of stack name you want to. I'm just gonna call this as then there's the bucket name. Let's call this my S3 meal. You can again give any name you want. Click on next. Let there be the defaults. I'm not gonna change any of these default settings here. Click on submit. And you can see here your bucket is being created. We'll need to wait for some time till it gets created. You keep on reloading to see when your stack will be created. Yeah, there you go. That's done. Your new bucket is successfully created. Now, how do we check? If you go on to AWS again, search for S3. And here is your bucket. This is a new bucket, my new bucket. There is your bucket that you just created right now. Now let's just tear this down. Click on delete. And this is going to delete my bucket forever. It's deleting in progress. And it's deleted. So if you go back to stacks, your deletion is complete. Now let's create another one using a sample template which is provided by AWS. Using a sample template. Here we're going to use LAMP stack, and inside this LAMP stack you will be getting one EC2 instance and a local MySQL database or storage. If you click on application composer here, you can see this infrastructure as well, because application composer just shows you the design like I told you before.
Yep.
There. These are the resources which are being created inside with this YAML code. But if you want to see the code, you can go to designer. In YAML format.
Cloud. There
you go. The parameters, key name. This is where I copied that AWS sample that I showed you from. This is where I got it from. Okay, let's go back to our instance creation. Click on next. Another stack name. Can give anything again. I'm just gonna give it my new stack 06. Your database. Give any password. Maybe user, I'm gonna go with admin. This I'll select T2 micro. Key pair. Now for key pair, you need to create an instance. Either you can create an instance, or if you already have an existing key pair, you can just select it. I'll show you how to create a key pair. You need to go to EC2. Click on instances. Launch an instance. Now if you scroll down, you can see key pair. Here, click on create new key pair. Give any name. New bucket. So then, create key pair. And if you come back over here, that's how you create your key pair. You can just select on any of these. Click on next. Then let this be the defaults. Again, everything the defaults. Click on submit. Now this is again create in progress. Okay. So it takes a while to create the LAMP stack because there are a lot of resources inside that. We already saw there's a database, there are EC2 instances. So it takes a while to create it. But if you keep on reloading, then after 2-3 minutes, it's completed. Now again, if you want to see, you can come in here, search for EC2. There's an EC2 instance. There. This is the one that we created right now, T2 micro. Now let's delete this one also. If we delete, it's delete in progress. This will also be terminated in a while when this deletion is completed. There, your instance is gone.
Okay.
It's shutting down because this is shutting down. We have deleted this. And in a while it will be terminated. Yeah, our deletion is completed. Now if we reload this, it's terminated. Now in a while this will just fall off on its own. And let me just show you the last one. Application Composer. I already showed you the Application Composer. Inside of this, you can just drag and drop all the resources that you want to use and then just link them together with the resources that you think they're going to be linked together with. And you can click on validate to see if the resources that you are linking together is actually valid in the cloud infrastructure. And you can just go to Designer and get the code for this particular template as well. So yeah, that's it. That's how you create a cloud infrastructure within CloudFormation. I showed you the 3 methods, and from these 3 methods from in the real world application, most of the companies just code into files and then just upload their code, but you can use whatever is comfortable, whatever you are comfortable with. And with that, we'll end this video.